Welcome back. We've already talked about what you might see, what you won't see, and where this is supposed to end up. So nobody should be lost in the sauce at this point. All that said, it's time to get to work. All right, so now we know what's going to happen with it. It's time to start tearing it down. I'm going to start on the outside with things like the rocker guards, flares, bumpers. All that's got to come off. I'm going to take any of the lights I've taken off. I'm going to start working on some body work once all that's done. There's some small cosmetic things like little dents there, some holes in the tub here that I'm going to get filled. Strip it down to just a bare frame and really get this resto mod done right. Pitter patter, let's get at her. Right, so we're now bumperless. 6 bolts to take out of this. You got 2 up top, both sides. One that comes up from the bottom on each side. And there she is, sitting in the corner. That's where she's going to rest for now. The next project is going to be undoing this mess of a dual battery system. So that way we don't got to worry about shorting anything out anymore. Good times. Alright, so we got our dual battery out. That turned into one mess after another. First off, I had to take out my my trail rocker. Kind of like an S-Pod, but a little bit better. That was in the way to get the batteries out. Became chasing down a whole bunch of wiring to remove. And ultimately ended up starting to tear my dash apart. Yeah, cleaning up all this messy wiring that I always said, oh, I'll get it when I finally do this project. Well, it's finally here, and I wish it had been done a little cleaner the first time around. So, all that is out now, and it sure looks a whole lot cleaner in there as well. Got it all sitting over here. So there's my dual batteries, the relay for it, all the controls for that, and the trail rocker system. On to the next. Let's get the rear bumper off now. She's hefty. You don't really think about how much dirt gets caked up in behind in these areas too. We also found ourselves a new problem to sort out. This guy here. Right there. Our bolts broke off into the frame, so we're gonna have a fun time trying to figure out how to extract that. But one step closer. Few hours of wrench turning later, here we are. No more bumpers. No more flares. No more rocker guards. No more inner rear flares. Those things are just a huge mud catch. It's mostly a smooth process. We got a little hiccup here with bolt stuck in the frame. Overall, it was mostly smooth. Another issue ran up here was little nutserts that hold the flares into the body. A couple of them had totally seized up. I had to hammer this one out. That one came out fine, and I just pulled the flare off of this one, and it's still stuck in there for now. But I'm gonna get all this stuff cleaned up and organized. Then I think I'm gonna move it inside and really start stripping the dash down.
Mom, it's not a phase. It's not a phase, Mom. You just don't understand.
Anyways, I didn't get a lot of this process film because I'm sure you fellow TJers know these things are very small inside. But here's what I'm looking at now. Went ahead and got the front seats out, opened up the dash, and ran into all those lovely, I'll clean it up later wiring projects. Had this amp tucked in behind my steering column, an extra radio for the trails, all the wiring for these dash speakers, which by the way, if you guys have a TJ, these are select increments, VersaPods. They're universally mountable, but they're really awesome for upgrading your Jeep's audio quality. After that, I also had some wires running up behind the dash here, along the A-pillar and the windshield frame, going to my switch panel, which is also out right now. So, we're starting to make some progress in here. Quick update. I got most of the dash pulled. The airbag's diffused. The cover over the passenger airbag is an absolute pain to get off, and it has to come off before the plastic dash can come off. It's got two bolts way up near the top, one there and one way up here that hold it in, and they're really hard to get to. But once I got that popped off, I got the rest of it off pretty easy. I did also accidentally break a little plastic leg on this guy here. There's a cable that runs up into the dash, and it's actually running to the HVAC controls, and somehow or another that controls the temperature. So see about how we're gonna go about fixing that. Got the center console pulled, rear seat out, all the carpeting's gone. Need to grab some more tools before I can get any further on the dash. So I think the next step is gonna be pulling the hard top and then getting the cage out. Maybe tomorrow though. So here we are with our top off now. I got the steering wheel pulled so I could get the frame of the dash out. I finally got all my wiring out. Now I'm just dealing with the factory wiring. Found some empty pigtails on the steering column here, traced it back. Looks like it's going into this little control module of sorts down here. I'm not really sure what that is. Maybe it's for the airbags. Maybe it's a cruise control module that they just never really implemented in this particular model here, because I know this was about the time frame where they did start getting cruise control. But next big project here is getting all the HVAC stuff out. And this is going to be fun because I'm not even really sure how it's in here right now. So let's get it figured out. So I got the interior pretty stripped now. The heater box is out. pretty quickly realized that I was gonna have to go up underneath the hood to get that out. Had to disconnect the AC lines out there and the lines for the heater core. It's only held in with 5 bolts on that engine bay side of the firewall. Steering column's out. The only thing keeping this roll cage in still is one very stubborn bolt that was sprayed over with some kind of adhesive, and so I stripped it out pretty bad trying to get it out. But I'm gonna move on to a different project before I lose my cool on that. POV, you're looking for the tool you just laid down 30 seconds ago. I'm gonna come up, start working on getting things out of the engine bay, start getting some body panels off. Got the waifu slaving away for me over there. But, we got some crated goodness. It's here. Here it is. Big bag. Very big bag.
Looks good though. My teeth are ready.
Where's me knife? Probably need my razor blade. This thing's barely a butter knife.
Today, Junior. Oh!
Wow. Look how shiny. Ooh-wee. Well,
I see the Cummins red.
he's in there.
Look at that little turbo. Yeah, look at that little baby turbo.
Golly. Look how pretty it is.
Sit that way for long. God, this is so heavy duty hose.
Oh, wow. Here she is in the crate. Cummins. Oh, buddy. That's cool. All right, so here we are with what makes a Jeep looking like a Jeep out of the way. And it looks like that radiator was in need of a flush bad. But next thing doing here, getting these fenders off. So we gotta get all that disconnected, the rest of the wiring that's attached to it. Get that off. Still got to deal with this pesky bolt over here for the roll cage. But aside from that, Well on the way to having this thing down to just the frame. Let's get back to it. So it's been a couple of weeks. Spring has sprung and the pollen is trying to murder me. But here's where we left it off. Front end's wide open. Engine is ready to be pulled. Before we get to that, I'm gonna work on getting the old fuel tank out and stripping this down further into just a rolling chassis. So that's something like figuring out the rest of this wiring that's attaching the tub to the frame, and like 6 or 8 bolts, something like that, down either side. Fun, fun, fun. Checking in about a month later. Our fuel tank has been pulled. It's laying over here waiting to transfer some of those components over to the new one, which will be a slightly larger one and a whole lot nicer. Our doors here have been pulled and mostly stripped. There's still a little bit of work that needs to be done on that. It's our sea of internal parts. Also been working on these old body panels. Got the windshield off. All this is about ready for cleaning and repainting. So now it is time to pull the tub off the frame, which I have grossly underestimated the weight of. So I had to come up with some device here, get it off. Spent a little bit of time rigging all this rope up, going up to a snatch block. Unfortunately, the engine hoist over there was not going to cut it. It couldn't get it up high enough and was kind of pulling back onto itself a little bit. So running from the snatch block up there, we're going to pull this up with a 4-wheeler. Got the labor over there taking a little union break right now, but we're going to give this a whirl. Hopefully it doesn't break. Easy. Right there.
What?
Look at that. So it's dangling. Well, the picking up wasn't exactly graceful, and I promised the coming down was a lot less graceful, but here we are. It is off the frame. We are down to just a rolling chassis now. I gotta say, it is very, very clean back here. Needs a good wash. And we still need to strip it down to bare frame. Send that guy off to galvanize it. So, I don't know, 15-20% project complete, maybe. That's probably an overestimate. On to doing some body work and stripping the frame even more.